let us go ahead and get started. And we can already tell it's a big patch because the from the designer section is the entire page. I have never seen this before. I have never seen the from the designer section take the entire page. I have to actually scroll down to see Zetian. So we will see. Let's see what they have to say. In high tier ranked games and professional matches, junglers have the biggest impact on early to mid game tempo, while EXP lane heroes rarely have standout performances. Yes, agreed. This sounds good. Sometimes EXP lane heroes even have to purchase defensive equipment to take on the role of damage soaking and give up their resources to other teammates. Yes, please. Please tell me they've made damage EXP viable again. But I don't want it to completely shift, right? I don't want it to completely shift back to EXP lane only being damage EXP, because that means that we have to go back to tank jungle, right? I want to make it so that damage EXP is an option. And preferably have other tank jungle options besides Fredrin, so that people aren't always forced to be Fredrin Baxia tank jungle so that they can play, you know, Benedetta, Masha in the EXP lane, right? I want the option to be open, but I don't want the meta to shift entirely into this is the only thing you can play, right? That's what I'm hoping to see. We aim to give EXP lane fighters more opportunities to dominate the mid game, while slightly reducing junglers' early game tempo and balancing creep clearing speeds among different jungler heroes to prevent excessive disparity. Okay, sounds good so far. Additionally, we find healing reduction effect from equipment is currently too strong. Really? I feel like it's actually okay, creating a big difference in how well healing dependent heroes perform, based heavily on whether enemies purchase equipment with this effect. Therefore, we're reducing healing reduction effect while also adjusting heroes' equipment and skills with overly high healing to maintain balance. Oh boy. Is this a healing support buff? Are we gonna get healing support meta? Is this a Ruby buff? I sure hope so. I sure hope it's a Ruby buff. It is also true that a lot of damage EXP laners usually rely on lifesteal and spell vamp. So this is also a way to push damage EXP back into it. Okay, interesting. We will see. Finally, we've enhanced a resilience attribute to reduce duration of airborne control effects, but we've also decreased the resilience provided by certain equipment. Due to airborne now being affected by the new resilience effect, I remember previously airborne was the only effect. Airborne and suppression, I think, were the only effects that weren't actually affected by this. So okay, they've changed this. So this is an indirect Guinevere nerf. We will make adjustments to heroes whose combos rely on airborne to minimize the impact. Okay, they're probably gonna adjust her. While providing other compensatory buffs to heroes whose core feature is airborne but doesn't affect their combo. Good luck ranking up in the new season. Okay. Sounds good. Let's see if it is good. So we're gonna skip Zetian as usual because we already reacted to her hero spotlight. Again, check the YouTube video if you guys haven't, if you guys want my thoughts on how I feel about the hero. I do think she'll be very strong, but it really depends on the numbers. Alright, time for the meat and potatoes of the patch. The hero adjustments. Kuruel saying, good luck ranking up in the new season. Yeah, actually when you point it out like that, there's a smugness to the way this could be interpreted. Alright. Ooh. Rafaela is the first hero on the list? I do remember. Is this her new passive? As an angel who heals and protects allies, Rafaela's previous passive skill wasn't compatible with her core mechanics. I agree. Her old passive was shit. Rafaela can now turn the tide of battle with her new passive, Divine Resurrection, which allows her to quickly resurrect it. Oh my god, it's here. Oh, I've heard about this a long time ago. It's finally here, the new Rafaela passive. So, at regular intervals, Rafaela can use a special skill to instantly resurrect a fallen allied hero after a brief channeling. The resurrected allied hero will spawn at the base and is granted increased movement speed. Skill's cooldown is determined by both its base cooldown and the remaining respawn time of the revived hero, not affected by CDR. Okay, I think that's very important. This should not be affected by CDR. This is too strong to be affected by CDR. So I don't know what the cooldown is, but it's interesting that it also calculates the remaining respawn time of the revived hero. So there is some strategy to using it. You want to try and use it like sparingly rather than just instantly bringing someone back whenever you can, because the longer their respawn timer is, I assume the longer this goes on cooldown. But I needed to see what its base cooldown is. I can actually check that in a moment. Yeah, her old passive was just kamikaze, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, hello Nash. Welcome to the stream, sir. So her skill 1 has been changed, so the cooldown starts a bit slower, but rescales to be faster in the late game. Does less damage in the late game. Consecutive hits time wait, what does this mean? Hold on. I'm gonna check real quick. I wanna check the numbers on this myself. So wait, what is this? Enemies hit within... Alright, yeah, I forgot it had this effect. Okay, so they nerfed this slightly. But it stacks, so that's fine. And then... Divine Resurrection. Every 40 seconds? The channel is 2.5, which is a good amount of time. I assume, you know, if she gets interrupted, it would probably go on cooldown again or something like that. I need to check that, but I think this is a fair channel time. Increases movement speed by 30%. That's the usual base buff when you respawn anyway. Taking damage from heroes and legend creeps interrupts channeling. Okay. From heroes and creeps. Okay, so she can't be hit by like the big creeps either. Skill cooldowns increased by... Okay. I thought 40 seconds was really short. Okay, 500% of the target's remaining respawn time capped at 240 seconds. 500%. So if the hero's respawn time was 1 second, it would be 5 seconds added to 40 seconds. And then that would increase like exponentially. So if we reasonably assume like a slightly later game timing, let's say that you have a 20-second respawn timer left. If you use that, you are adding 100 seconds, which is 140 seconds. So that is 2 minutes. Okay, that sounds fair. That does actually sound fair to me. That is actually a very long cooldown, but it is going to be... So like, you have to be very strategic with when you use it. You actually do have to be quite strategic. Hello CZY, welcome to the stream. Hello Shami as well. So yeah, this is actually fairly balanced, I think. Like, the timer is really long, and you will only get to use like on one target. So it's very important to be strategic about it, but it is strong. It really is strong. And there's not much reason for you to use it if the respawn time is like 10 seconds or less, unless you're really trying to base defense. So you would only really use it when the cooldown timer is quite high as well. Okay, I think that's pretty balanced. That's actually really interesting. Genuinely, I think this makes Angela viable. This does make her a very interesting niche pick. And I really love it when they give heroes these very like specific interactions with the game mechanics. Because no other hero has this ability, right? So no matter how bad Rafaela is, if you have a team composition that wants to rely on this ability, you will pick Rafaela. That's why I feel like it's always better for heroes to have different ways of interacting with game mechanics, because that way every single one of them has a niche. So I like this actually. I do actually like this quite a lot, because Rafaela has been needing something to push her back into the meta. Imagine Rafaela and Faramis. It would be interesting, that's for sure. Okay, I like this. I do actually like this a lot. Okay, kudos to Moonton. I think this is actually fairly balanced, you know? Until I play against it and then I complain about it. Then it'll be unbalanced. For now, I think it's pretty balanced. Alright, Amon. Okay. Been a while since we've seen Amon. As an assassin, Amon's reliance on sustained basic attacks in the late game is too risky. We're giving him a hit and run option where he can collect ultimate shards by frequently entering the camouflage state, providing more strategic flexibility in the mid to late game. Ooh, okay, I like the sound of that. Therefore, we're reducing the time Amon needs to gather shards through the camouflage state, while also decreasing the benefits of subsequent enhanced basic attacks. When there's no immediate threat, Amon can continuously use enhanced basic attacks to secure kills, whereas in dangerous situations he can quickly enter the camouflage state to escape from enemies and gather shards. So he gets his passive speed boost has been increased. All enhanced basic attacks reduce skill cooldowns by 0.5. To first enhanced basic attack reduces all skill cooldowns by 1 second. I like this. Because in the first place, as an assassin, Amon should not be basic attacking that often anyway. So this makes a lot more sense for what he wants to do. Skill 1 cooldown has been rescaled, so it starts the same and then it ends up having a lower cooldown at 5.5 seconds. Armor charge interval reduced, okay, reduce force swing time, and then remove effect of casting a skill while charging armor. Fix an issue where Amon tree with shards with the next enhanced basic attack after hitting 4 charges. Okay. Skill 2 cooldown rescaled to be lower in general. Ultimate cooldown rescaled to be lower in general. Okay. This is just nice. This is just really good. If you ask me personally, I've always felt like Amon could be a niche pick as an assassin. It's just that it's been kind of difficult for him to play because he does rely on auto-attacking a good amount and actually getting shards built up on the map to actually one-shot someone. So if they're making it easier for him to gather shards and giving him the option to enter and exit fights while still building up shards, that actually makes him a little bit more viable. I don't think it'll make him hyper meta, but I think it will make him actually not bad of an assassin to go for. Who is messaging me? It makes him not bad of an assassin to go for when a lot of the other meta picks have been banned, right? I think this puts him close to Nolan's level, actually. Nolan is probably still a little better because he just generally has easier access to his damage. But this is better quality of life for Amon, because he is able to choose how long he wants to be part of the fight rather than being forced to build up shards for as long as possible. So, as someone who actually does play a little bit of Amon, I do like this. Again, it won't push him up into hyper meta territory, but it is good enough to make him a viable option if you really don't have any other assassins to play. I feel like a little bit more, you know, a slight bigger push will make a difference. I just don't really know specifically what kind of push it would need to be. You agree, Kuruel? Yeah, very nice. Okay, wait, who was messaging me? Oh. Yo, dude, you should check out the patch notes. Hold on, let me message the guy. I am reviewing it on stream right now, actually. Lol. Like, legit live, not love, that's not what I'm trying to type, live right now, XD. Alright. So I like this change to Amon, pretty good, pretty good. Arlet needs a buff. Arlet has been suffering in pro play. I cannot, like, holy shit, this poor guy. As a fighter who needs to move in and out of team fights frequently, Arlet needs more flexibility with defensive equipment. We're also optimizing the control experience of his skill 2 to give him better opportunities to position himself at a proper distance for other skills. So skill 2, HP recovery. Oh! Oh my god! It has a flat value! Oh, that's so good! That's actually so good! Also, Kayana say, first time I've seen someone type like that. Really? I think it's handy, especially since I'm using my mouse right now. It has a flat value. That is so good, actually. And yeah, it means Arlet doesn't need to build like damage items to get higher lifesteal from his skill 2. He will have a flat recovery percentage. And that means that he can actually build bulkier and get lifesteal values. That's good. That's really good. Gain a brief significant movement speed boost when hitting marked targets. Okay, that's nice. That's good quality of life. This is really good. This is really good. Ultimate. New effect. Each level up reduces... Whoa! Passive cooldown reduction? Ultimate can only be interrupted by suppression? Whoa! Whoa! Big buff to Arlen. Man, he needed it. He needed this buff. Okay. So CC, basically CC immune during Outcast, which isn't big because, you know, Final Slash happens so quickly anyway, but reducing passive cooldown by 1 second with each up is very good. Oh, you get like 2-3 seconds cut off your passive towards the late game, and then you can build tank because you have a flat healing percentage. You end up getting less healing overall compared to if you were building like full damage Arlet in the past, but this is way better. Because Arlet is meant to be more of a utility type hero. And then he gets movement speed as well from his skill too. This is really good. This is actually really good. Like, man, Arlet has been suffering so much in pro play. He needed this. He needed this, man. Hi Justin, yo, lots of crazy changes. Yeah, I'm working through it right now. It's gonna be a long review, that's for sure. But yes, this is great. This is really good. Very nice. So far, I'm really liking the changes that Moonton are adding. You know, it feels like it's what's necessary for the heroes, but not over the top either. It's just exactly where we want them to be. Hopefully, that trend continues. Alright, Leslie. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, last patch, Leslie had the lowest win rate in the game. Like, straight up. Actually, the hero with the lowest win rate in the entire game. She was that bad. So she needs a buff. She needs a notable buff. As a sniper, Leslie should have a longer attack range than other marksmen, so we want her to be compatible with Malefic Gun. Oh, alright. So the passive. Each point of fixed physical penetration converts to more crit damage. Alright, better scaling, so she doesn't need to go like 6 items before she actually starts doing anything. And then each 1% of physical penetration converts to 1% crit damage. Does it... wait, what does this mean? Does this stack? Are these like 2 separate stacking effects?
Sniper ready. Give me a target.
Each point of fixed penetration, each 1%. This is separate. Are these separate stacking increases? Whoa! So basic... Oh! Yeah, okay, Ray is right, because this refers to like talents or items that or like effects that increase physical penetration through percentages. Right? Because up until now, Leslie only actually got got crit damage from flat physical penetration, right? Because percentage technically doesn't work on her since she doesn't have any like direct penetration stats. It all gets converted. So now any items or emblems that increase it by a percentage also give her additional crit damage. Ouch! Damn, okay, that's a big change. Cruel says, I saw on DJY's stream, enemy is banning Leslie already. Wow, okay. Skill 1 new effect. After entering the camouflage state, gain 0.5 second protection during... Wait, oh wow! During which damage will not immediately... That's really good! That's really good! That means that Leslie might actually be able to use her camouflage, like, to escape from certain tight situations. Ultimate gain crit chance has been increased! Whoa, this is a big buff. This is actually a big buff. Yeah, this is actually the big buff that Leslie needed. Damn! She's going to hit like a truck. I'm gonna need to really test this to know precisely when, because up until now, Leslie has only really started hitting her hard around like the 4th or 5th item mark. This reduces that. it means that she might be able to fight around the same time that other marksmen can. And yes, it does mean that she's able to benefit from Malefic Gun, I think. Because this is a percentage increase. So it's never been good to build Malefic Gun on her because it doesn't give any flat physical penetration, which means that previously Leslie did not benefit from this armor buster passive at all. Right? Any item that gave a percentage penetration number was not effective on Leslie. Yeah, like Malefic Gun, Malefic Roar. Now it is. It is a 30%. Oh shit, 30% crit damage? Holy shit. That's okay. When I realized that means it's 30% crit damage, that's actually insane. Wow, okay, Leslie might be ridiculous actually. Okay. Damn, Kuruel says you cannot calm down. Yeah, Kuruel is our Leslie main. I've been having difficulty this whole time because Leslie's been so bad in the meta previously. That is a big change. That is a big change. I like that. Okay. Alright, Ixia. I love Ixia. I really want to be able to play Ixia again, so hopefully she gets a good buff here. Ixia relies on hitting enemies with skill 1 and skill 2 to chain basic attacks for damage output. Therefore, we've adjusted the slow effect after skill 1 hits enemy heroes to trigger upon hits of her passive, Siphon Starlium, in order to optimize her basic attack experience while slightly increasing the speed boost effect after hits. Okay. We've also increased Ixia's mid to late game passive healing. Nice. Upon hitting non-hero units. Oh, so nice. So nice. Okay. Ixia's ultimate boasts an exceptionally long can range and her basic attack range significantly surpasses that of other heroes, so we've decided to reduce it. Ah, that feels bad. I really like poking on Ixia because her range is so stupidly long, but I understand, it is necessary. So it's a 0.2 basic attack range reduction. Not too bad, but I will definitely feel it because I usually outrange people on Ixia and I'm not gonna be able to do that to everyone anymore. New passive effect, Siphon Starlium reduces target's movement speed for 25 seconds. Oh, it's so good. Oh, that's so good. I like that. Non-hero units HP recovery is... Ooh, okay, yeah, it's just buffed. It basically gets an extra 50%, 50 multiplier on the lifesteal percentage. I like that. Yeah, why not? Because like Ixia is very vulnerable, right? She has to just stand there and blast her ultimate. So having extra lifesteal is very good, and it basically incentivizes Ixia to try and play around aiming her ult into minion waves, right? It basically increases the priority of making sure that you also aim your ult to hit as many minions as possible so that you can get healing. Skill 1 movement speed gain after hitting a hero plus 10%. Nice, okay. Slightly increased skill whiff! Oh, I love her skill 1 actually. It was already fast to increase the cast speed? Huh. Remove effect to reduce movement speed by 40%. You know what? I'm okay with this. I'm actually okay with taking this away because they put it on the passive, which is arguably so much better. It's just so much better to have the movement speed slow on her passive than her skill 1. Because it's so much easier to apply her passive when she has the entire enemy team in her ultimate, right? And then her ultimate, optimize auto cast targeting logic for skill 1 and skill 2. Okay, feels nice. Oh, a huge cooldown reduction. Yes! Amazing! I want to play Ixia again. Oh, that's so good. She's probably still going to be a bit hard to play, right? Because she is a marksman that lacks mobility and there's still a lot. Unless they start nerfing some assassins, there's still a lot of mobility in the game. So I don't think Ixia is going to be meta. Not because of the changes, but because of the way that, you know, the meta is right now. Unless I see notable changes after this in terms of like assassins and mobility, I think Ixia is not gonna be like commonly picked as a gold laner. But as someone who likes playing Ixia, this is just going to feel a lot better to play. So I like that. I do like that. It's very good. Okay, Bruno made it easier to stack passive and optimize mana cost. Crit chance per stack has been increased. Max stacks oh wow, okay. Skill 1 mana cost reduced. So small quality of life improvement for Bruno, but man, this guy with the football already hit like a truck. You know, he's gonna hit even harder. If you ask me personally, I don't really feel like Bruno needed too much of a buff. So this is a kind of a small buff, but it will make a difference in the later stages, cause like being able to stack up that crit chance easier and faster is very painful. Does it reduce the overall crit chance potential? I think it does. Cause we are reducing 2 stacks. Actually, no, does it? Previously it was 10 stacks, so it's 20%. Now it's 8 times 2.5. Oh, it is. It's the same. It is the same. So yeah, it is. It's just a straight up buff. Bruno just hits harder faster, which is a pain in the butt. Yeah, it's the same. I just did the math again. Okay. Damn. All right. That's painful. Okay. The fact, this is gonna be annoying actually. It's actually a pretty nice buff. It's not like a big buff, you know, it's only like one small change, but it's a notable change. Changes to passives and stacking like this makes a big difference actually. Okay. Natan! Following the previous optimization, Natan can maintain his passive more easily, but the stack count still depends on skill hits. We've reduced his skill 1 cooldown to help him stack his passive more effectively. Yeah, this isn't gonna do anything. This is a 1 second skill 1 cooldown reduction in the late game? That's not gonna do shit. That actually changes nothing for Natan. This is like a zilch. This is like a nada change. This is like one of the most lackluster changes I've seen. Alright, sure. It technically is a buff, I guess. I mean, 1 second does make a difference, especially in extended fights, but actually, I guess it depends, cause it does mean there's a chance of getting his skill 1 out in extra time in fights, and CDR would affect it. Yeah, Gin is the Natan player in chat. Okay, you know what? That does make a difference. I forgot to account CDR. You're right. I forgot to think about CDR. CDR maxed out at 40% before this, right? So yeah. That means that skill 1 is at a 3 second cooldown instead of a 4 second cooldown in late game. It's a nice improvement actually. It is a nice improvement. It's not a big change, but it's a nice little improvement. Yeah, I forgot to account for CDR. I always forget CDR. Okay, it's not bad actually. Ooh, Lilia. Alright. Lilia has definitely needed some presence. Lilia's conditions for dealing high damage are too strict. We aim to optimize this while reducing the gap in skill frequency between early and late game. Skill 2 cooldown. Okay guys, I don't play Lilia. Could you guys run by me again? Is skill 2 the orbs or gloom? I forgot which one was skill 2. Cooldown 6 seconds at all levels. Wow, that is a big upgrade from like level 1. It's the orbs. That is a huge upgrade. A nearly 4 second reduction at level 1? Yeah, that is totally worth it being 1 second longer in the late game. Mana cost reduced. Okay, that's good as well. Damage has been increased in exchange for a reduced gloom damage growth. Okay. Max level gloom restores 50% of shadow energy's recharge time when it hits an enemy hero. Changed to 20%. Well, the cooldown has been already reduced. This is actually pretty big. Wow. And this is also affected by CDR. Right, so they reduced the recharge time upon gloom hitting, but it is balanced out a little bit by the 6 seconds. Yeah, this is balanced out. Wow, okay, Lilia is actually a little more annoying early game now. Damn. Fudge, as if she wasn't annoying enough before. I understand the buff though, because like, tankier heroes are not quite as prevalent nowadays, and even if they are, they're usually like ultra tanky, right? Like high-lows and so on. So even though Lilia is meant to be suited for dealing with tankier, slower heroes, it's still difficult for her to really make her presence known, because they are still like fairly bulky even accounting for that. And Lilia's range is a little bit shorter overall. When you combine that with like a really long cooldown on her skill 2 at level 1, she will oftentimes have difficulty matching up the mid wave clear compared to like other meta mid laners. So this helps reduce the gap a little bit, even if her poke might be a little difficult against higher range mages. It means that she's able to clear wave faster for less resources. It's good. This is good. Alright, yeah. Will this make her meta, I wonder? I feel like it might make her a niche possibility. I don't think it'll be a hero that you see a lot of the time, but if it is the right comp for it, I can see her being picked up in similar situations to when you might need an X-Borg or something, right? So, okay. Alright, pretty good buff for Lilia. Kadita. Optimize the control experience of each skill to make it comfortable for her to chain combos. Movement speed increased by quite a lot actually. A 15 movement speed increase base is very nice. Dashing speed reduced, but the movement speed makes up for it. Mana cost reduced by a lot. Wow. A lot from that mana cost reduction. Skill 2 airborne delay is faster by 0.3 seconds. Kadita players are gonna need to relearn their combo slightly. Also a huge reduction in mana cost. Ultimate can only be interrupted by suppression! Oh, fudge. Dude. There have been a lot of times when we catch a Kadita because we cancel her ult cast, right? And her force swing is faster too. So Kadita's ultimate is now almost basically a guaranteed get out of jail free card, right? Because in the past, if she got like CC'd while the animation was playing, it would cancel it. It does not happen anymore. If Kadita wants to use her ult to escape, she is going to escape. Not to mention, you know, there's not a lot of suppression in the game in the first place. You are not going to see a Franco ult a Kadita very often. So this is almost 100% a free escape for Kadita in any situation. That's pretty good. Kadita is still, of course, a pretty niche mage, right? She doesn't offer as much consistent magic damage. And nowadays, you really need consistent magic damage to be a viable mid laner. You know, she plays more like an assassin, so she's not very suited for the meta. But she is very good for, again, niche situations. Kadita fulfills a niche. She has become better at doing that niche, and she has higher quality of life for dealing with it as well. Again, also says this is a counter to Zetian. That's true. Yeah, that can be, it can be a counter to Zetian, because Zetian doesn't have a lot of like mobility, right? She depends on her passive to push people away, and Kadita is able to, you know, go in and cancel that out if necessary. Does Zetian push back Kadita when she's in her waveform? She's technically untargetable. First skill can't cancel Kadita ult, Gin says. Man, if that's the case, yeah, she's a counter to Zetian. Okay, I will keep that in mind. Okay, thank you for the... No, okay, damn. Yeah, she's a... Yeah, okay, you know what? I like that. I think Kadita as a niche counter to specific heroes and team comps is exactly where she should be. Very good. Alright. Kagura buff. Oh, Lilo gonna be happy here. As Kagura is a high difficulty burst type mage with high mobility, we want to give her more opportunities to find her rhythm and pull off highlight worthy plays in the early and mid game. Passive shield. That's a big shield. Holy. 170 base plus 30% magic power? That's a big shield. Whoa. That's a big shield increase. And Kagura always builds like max damage anyway. If you like combine this with Blood Wings. Whoa. Skill 2 with Seimei Umbrella, gain a brief control. Oh! Oh! Oh, I like that. Okay. For those of you who don't understand this, remember that Kagura has a built-in Purify, right? Her dash when she has the Umbrella is technically a Purify out of any effects that are happening. So like if Kagura gets caught by an implosion when she has her umbrella, she can use her skill 2 to get out of it for free, even if she's caught in the stun. But in the past, if you time this incorrectly, right? If you time this like if you'd use the dash right before implosion happened, you would no longer be immune to CC, because the CC immunity happens when you dash off the umbrella in the first place. Now, even if you mess up the timing a little bit or you dash slightly earlier, she will still remain CC immune, which is actually really nice, right? Because as someone who plays Kagura, I have had moments when I use the dash too early and I get caught in CC. So this helps deal with those situations. I like it. It's good. And the shield is good. I think Kagura only really needed a slightly better consistency in terms of her magic damage, because she's very reliant on cooldowns to get her ults off. That's why she is kind of niche. She's a little bit more universal than Kadita, but still a bit difficult because you want heroes that have really consistent access to magic damage. But this actually does make a difference. The shield is really good. She's always been a more universal mage, so I can actually see Kagura potentially coming out just like randomly here and there, but it's not gonna happen frequently. It really depends on the player. Stormy will probably find a chance to play it. Also a counter to Zetian. That is true, yeah, Kagura could be a counter for Zetian as well. Basically, Zetian is weak to burst. If she gets one shot from range, there's not much you can do about it. Alright, I like this. As someone who also plays Kagura myself, this is really nice. And this shield is huge. This is a big shield increase, damn. Lunox. Currently, Lunox cannot quickly switch to Order State and cast her ultimate while Power of Chaos is enhanced. We want to enrich her combo options by allowing her to end Chaos State early and switch to Order State to cast her ultimate when needed. You know, I'm kind of surprised this wasn't a thing before. Now, okay, so now while Power of Chaos and Enhanced Skill 1 shares a shortened cooldown, Starlight Pulse shares a shortened cooldown with Chaos Assault, but using Starlight Pulse would interrupt Power of Chaos Enhancement State. Okay. So, it just basically is a quality of life improvement, and it means that if Lunox accidentally commits too hard to her Power of Chaos state when she actually wants to escape, then she is able to just cancel out of it. I just dropped something, hold on. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is just a good quality of life improvement for Lunox. Again, she's kind of... Lunox is actually not too bad in terms of damage consistency. This is not bad, actually. This is genuinely not a bad change. I actually could see this putting Lunox back in the meta. Because Lunox has control immunity, she has some mobility, she has damage consistency, she has scaling. She actually fulfills all the conditions that a lot of the meta mages do right now, outside of cast range, right? Her range and the fact that she's locked into doing damage when she activates Power of Chaos have always been like the deterring factors, and one of those is now gone. So Lunox could genuinely be good again. There were just some quality of life things that were messing up her ability to be played in the meta, because otherwise she is a good mid laner. Alright, pretty big, actually. Damn. Alright. Odette. Odette buff after what Stormy did. Reduce mana cost and optimize skill 2 casting experience. Mana cost reduced on skill 1, alright, not too notable, but pretty nice. Skill 2, force swing time reduced, remove backswing. Wow, okay. Feels a lot smoother. Ultimate mana cost also reduced. Odette is still very niche. She's not meta, for sure. It was just very, like, she was just the correct mage pick for SRG in that one game, but otherwise Odette is not a meta pick. This is just like quality of life improvements for a hero that will have a lot of difficulty still playing in the meta. So, we're not gonna see a lot of Odette, but the very few times that we do see Odette, she's just gonna feel better to play. Also, I will say, as someone who plays melee heroes, I hate how fast her skill 2 stun happens. Right? I really hate how fast Odette stuns me when I try to engage on her. And now it happens faster. So I am a little bit annoyed. Also, technically speaking, Odette is indirectly buffed because of adjustments to the airborne state. Right? Because airborne is one of the few statuses that cancel Swan Song. So if airborne is getting nerfed, Odette gets buffed, kind of. But she is still very situational. Alright, next we have a Roger. Ooh, Roger buff. Innocent? The half man, half beast returns? I really want to see it. I want to see Innocent play Roger in MSC. Roger has been underperforming in the current patch. We will improve the control experience of his basic attacks and skills in human form while adjusting his ultimate cooldown. Remove basic attack backswing in wow, really? So he just shoots really fudging fast. Okay. Skill 1, reduce force swing in human form by 20%, reduce backswing in human form by 25%. And then his ultimate cooldown reduced by 1.5 seconds early. It definitely makes him better to play. Right, his animations come out a lot faster, especially in human form, because that's always felt like the slightly clunkier form. You know, beast form has always been where he does most of his damage. So that helps a bit, but it doesn't really feel like it would be enough to make him like really strong. A 1.5 second reduction in his ultimate cooldown in level 1 is actually pretty big. Right, it makes his jungle clear a lot faster. Actually, and it makes him capable of ganking quite early. He's not going to be meta. He's not gonna be like super meta because, you know, back when Innocent played Roger consistently, Roger was one of the most meta heroes. This is not gonna return him to that state. But it actually does feel like it's good enough for people to pick it up. Right? I think this puts Roger slightly under the viability of Yi Sun Shin. It's actually fairly close. I feel like Roger and Yi Sun Shin have very similar viability in the meta, right? Because they kind of approach the jungle position in a similar way, and these buffs adjust Roger so that he's able to catch up to the changes that were made to Yi Sun Shin as well. It means that we're not going to be seeing Roger in every single game, obviously. In fact, we're not going to be seeing Roger in a lot of games. But certain players will pick him. And I am okay with that. You know, as long as there's a chance that Innocent plays Roger again, I am happy. I do EXP Roger and it's, I don't know, Kuruel says, lol. Okay. Alright, I like it. I think it's good. I wish it was a slightly bigger buff so that we could see him more. Because I do want a little bit more variety in the jungle options, but this is good. This is not bad. Hellcurt. Improved Hellcurt's gain on equipment in the mid and late game and enhanced the fluidity of his skill combo. Attack growth reduced by a lot. 3? So he's missing like 15 attack. No wait, what am I saying? 45 attack by the time you hit level 15. Skill 1 reveals position of terrified enemies. Wait, what? Okay, so like, you know, if Hellcurt is playing against like Natalia or Amon and then you like skill 1 on top of them and terrify them, then they get revealed. I do question, does this reveal the position of enemies that Hellcurt terrifies? Or the position of any terrified enemy? Cause this feels very, very niche. Like, it works against heroes with like camouflage and so on, but otherwise you're not really going to... Okay, there is one niche interaction. There are times when as a Hellcurt, you jump in, you terrify someone, and you get kind of unlucky because they just happen to walk into a bush. right? Like if you position yourself a bit incorrectly, there's a chance of terrifying an opponent into a bush, and then you lose sight of them, and because you will sometimes auto-target your deadly stinger, you just miss. So if this reveals, even if your opponent happens to walk into a bush when they get terrified, you will not miss with auto-aim. That's like the main interaction I can think about. So, okay, interesting. Skill 2, extra physical attack bonus increased by 8%, which is actually pretty nice. Skill 2 prioritizes targets affected by Skill 1's Terrify. Thank you! Fudge man, so many times you go in as a Hellcat, you want a deadly stinger one person, it goes for a different person. Very good. That is just like targeting AI doing better. Very good. Remove delay after casting ultimate. Now casting ultimate restricts enemy sight range immediately. Okay, so it's just buffed. He's just buffed basically. I guess the extra physical attack bonus makes up for his reduced attack growth. If you ask me, I don't think they needed to do this. I don't really feel like there was any need to nerf his attack growth by this much as well. Like that is 45 missing attack at level 15. Now, it gets balanced out because of this attack bonus, but I really don't think this needed to be changed. He's not busted, he just feels better to play. I think it's still gonna be very rare that we see a Hellcat, but the few times that we do, he just feels better. You know, it's like under that category of quality of life improvement. So, yeah, I think this is fine. It's not really going to change Hellcat's position in the meta. 42.7, yeah, because like you level up 14 times, not 15 times, but it's close enough. Okay, Lancelot, increase skill ceiling and early to mid game damage. Skill 1, mark. Two-second reduction on Lancelot mark duration. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Okay, that is very interesting. So, what's his skill 1 cooldown? Where is Lance? I don't think I own Lance. No, I do apparently. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Alright,
where the light shines, flowers will bloom.
Yeah, Kai is not wrong. It is possible for him to keep dashing through one target. It'll take some time, you know, for the mark to go away, but 3 seconds is a huge reduction, actually, compared to previous. It's actually a really big reduction. Wow, okay. Yeah, that does increase his skill ceiling. And he clears jungle faster too. Yeah, he gets a plus 50 base damage on his skill 1. Lancelot is viable. 100% Lancelot is viable. Because we already saw teams starting to play some Lancelot before this. This buff is actually really big. Lancelot is going to be viable. We are going to see Lances in the meta, I'm pretty sure. Damn. Wow. Okay. Very good actually. Yeah, single buff can use passive multiple times. Iskandar is correct. That is really good. More dashes, more damage. Okay. Dude, it's gonna be so cool to watch Lancelots now. Like, they can actually dash in and out of a fight, like, so easily. Nash asked, what hero you think will appear more in this patch besides the new hero? Well, I'm not done with the patch notes yet. Lancelot will, definitely. I think Lunox might. Leslie, yes. Arlette, maybe. Raph, maybe. Yeah, these are the heroes so far. There's probably more below, but those are the ones I've looked at so far. Okay, okay. Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, Gushen. Reduce skill downtime and increase error tolerance when retreating. Skill 2 cooldown reduced. That's very nice in the early game. You know, if you miss Sword Spike, you just cannot engage. Now you have a little bit more freedom. Ultimate cooldown reduced by 4 seconds. Overall, second cash dash distance increased by 33%. Dashing speed increased by 66%. Okay. Good quality of life improvement for Gushen. I think we're still not really going to see Gushen in the meta because the things that Gushen does, other assassins do better and easier. But again, this is a quality of life improvement, so it's still pretty nice. It just is not gonna push Gushen into the meta. I don't really think we're gonna see people picking him still. Kuruel says they sent something about Malefic Gun in the Discord. Oh, okay, so if you buy Malefic Gun on Leslie, you can actually see the increase in their skin indicators as well. I see. Okay, that's pretty nice. Good to see that they addressed that. Nolan slightly increased his early game damage and sustained combat capability. Energy regen increased, base damage increased. Okay, again, quality of life improvement. Nolan was already seeing some play. No, sir. Nolan was already seeing some play when all of the other more meta assassins were being banned out. So I think that he's still going to remain in a very similar sort of position. This just makes him feel smoother to play. Because he is still a very solid assassin. So this is just a small buff for Nolan. I think his appearance rate is still going to be about the same. Zhenho, stop inviting me. I am streaming. Yuzong. Yuzong's passive Sha residue recovery efficiency was low, so we've optimized the Mark's flight speed to improve to improve HP recovery efficiency. Additionally, we've significantly increased his max HP in both Black Dragon and Dragonite forms. Okay, so basically what they're saying is that the HP that you get from Sha residue will fly to Yuzong faster, which is nice. And then his ultimate has a pretty notable HP boost actually. Wow! 400 at level 1, 1000 at late game. Wait, 1000 is a lot. How much does Guardian Helm give? 1800. Fudge! That's half a Guardian Helm! Dude, that's more than Radiant! Yeah, that is more than an item! Whoa! Holy shit, that's a lot of HP! Whoa, wait. Okay, so the problem with a lot of damage EXP laners in the meta right now is that they are just way too squishy, right? Because there's so much damage flying around nowadays with the marksmen scaling faster, assassins scaling faster, mages doing DPS. Like, damage fighters have had a really hard time. I have tried to play Yuzong, I have tried to play Paquito, and I just cannot. Because they die so fast, right? Because there's just so much damage in the game. This is an entire item's worth of HP in his ultimate. That is really good. That is massive, actually. Yuzong is basically getting an extra item slot worth of HP. It's still going to be, like, not perfect, right? Because HP only gets you so far. But this does actually make him a lot more viable, right? It means that while he's obviously not as tanky as heroes like Hylos or Gatot, and he still lacks a little bit of sustainability compared to like Phobius, you know, easy access to it, because this only applies during his ultimate, right? And Yuzong is not gonna have his ultimate available all the time. But when you combine the amount of HP he is getting here with the increased speed of his Sha residue flying back and healing him, we might see Yuzong. I genuinely think there's a chance this puts him back as a viable EXP lane pick. Because this is a lot of HP. And he gets, like, his char residue is faster. Dude, 1000 HP is so much! Whoa, dude! Yuzong might return as a viable pick. I don't think he's going to be hyper meta. I think it's still going to be leaning a bit more into, like, tanky XP laners. But... damn! Yuzong's gonna be a pain again. Alright, I like it. I'm a fan. Until I play against a Yuzong, then I'm gonna hate it. Okay, okay. Yeah, if Yuzong enters meta again, EXP is gonna be stressful, M4R said earlier. W Mincetar changes, Kai says. Alright. Ooh, quite a bit of change in Mincetar. As Mincetar is a fighter, we aim to reduce his gain on attack equipment while significantly reducing his skill 2 cooldown. Passive base damage and regen has been increased, so he is going to be a little more DPS, a little tankier. Skill 1 damage bonus is no longer based on... Whoa, wait, 40% total! I was like looking at this and being like, isn't this a pretty big nerf? Then I saw the wording. This is from extra to total. Okay, that's huge. Yeah, he really is less reliant on items, you know, on damage items, because this will take into account his base damage, which has already been buffed by his passive as well. Okay. Okay. Skill 2 cooldown 4 seconds! Isn't it up almost all the time? Skill 2 lasts for like 2 to 3 seconds on its own. Isn't this like nearly 100% uptime on his skill 2? Enhanced basic attack damage changed from 100% total physical attack to 100. He has base damage and then 45% total physical attack. Okay, again, ooh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Dude, why does my nose always act up when I'm streaming? It is ridiculous. Okay. So, okay, and then the damage has been changed from less flat. Plus, okay, 300, 500 flat plus 180 extra physical attack to 100, 200 flat plus 45% total. You can build Bruiser Mincetar! Bruiser Mincetar is real! Thank you! Thank you, Moonton! I love you! Oh my god! You can build Bruiser Mincetar! You can build Tank Bruiser Mincetar! Oh god, it's so good! Yes! Oh! Oh, that's amazing! That is amazing! Attack speed Bruiser Mincetar. Dude, I want to play it. I actually want to play him now. Because I do like Mincetar. I like being able to deny dashes. His gameplay is actually pretty fun. It's just that, you know, you have to commit the full damage to actually be kind of relevant. So he just has no place in the meta, right? Like, attack speed based fighters have no place in the meta because they're too item reliant. And that's not what the meta needs of them. And Mincetar is not able to jungle either, so it feels worse. He can be a bruiser. He can be a bruiser. You could probably even build him full tank. You know? Like, the fact that they changed his skill 2 cooldown to be 4 seconds at all levels means that you could probably build him full tank. Right? He can just be a stun bot. Right? Because he has almost permanent access to his skill 2, which allows him to build up stacks and get stuns out, which provides him healing. And then, like, he still does a little bit of damage, especially if you build him with Thunderbelt, because you will also benefit from the defense, and you take into account your total physical attack anyway, so your base stats are going to be calculated into it. He's obviously not going to be doing as much damage as if you build him, like, full damage, obviously, but it means he has utility! He can play for utility! Yes! And yeah, what Kai is saying, you can reduce damage from the front when using his second skill, which is almost going to be permanently available at all levels! Wow! I am going to play Mincetar. Oh, this is so good. He is viable. Mincetar is viable. Confirmed, 100%, I can say Mincetar is viable. I don't think he's going to be 100% meta, right? He's not going to be like pick or banned every single game. But this is a hero you can play. Especially with how much mobility is in the game right now, you can play Mincetar. So good! Thank you, Moonton! One of the best changes! So good! Alright, thank you. Thank you, Moonton. I love you. Alright. It's a big fat W. Damn, now my niche pocket pick is gonna get pick banned way more. That's true, yeah. No one ever pick banned Mincetar. Now he might be in contention. But I don't think anyone's gonna ban Mincetar. I don't think anyone's gonna ban Mincetar. Unless someone figures out that there's some kind of OP bruiser build on him, then maybe. But Mincetar should still be pretty viable. Because all of the meta picks, I haven't actually seen any nerfs to the meta picks yet. So we will see. Xborg. Optimize Xborg's teamfight performance in mid and late game and increase effectiveness of his perfect ultimate. Okay, ultimate number of rotations 14. So I guess they're reducing the rotation damage in exchange for having more of them. Rotation damage changed from 200 plus 130% physical attack to extra plus 90% total magic power to 90 to 110, so reduce base damage, 60% extra physical attack, 45% total magic power. So this does roughly the same amount of damage. Basically it just does roughly around the same amount of damage, but it does the damage quicker, right? So because like his ultimate will last the same amount of time, but the damage comes out in faster ticks, right? Back in the like before this, there were 7 instances of damage in Last Insanity. Now there are 14, which means that it does damage twice as fast at half the damage. So sometimes Xborg needs to use Last Insanity to escape, and in those cases you will end up doing a little bit more damage than before because, you know, you are applying it quicker. New effect, Firaga supplies touch during ultimate will not be absorbed, and then when ultimate ends all nearby oh, you know what, that's pretty good. That's very good, because before this, when you were ulting and you picked up his passive like drops on the floor, they would kind of be wasted because he technically has full armor at the time, potentially. So it doesn't do that anymore. He just grabs all the nearby supplies when he ults, which is actually really good. Because if he's able to apply a lot of stacks and get a lot of these dropped on the floor, the moment he explodes, he absorbs all of them and just gets his armor back. Yo! That is terrifying. What the fudge? Oh my god, you cannot let Xborg get fed. You cannot allow this hero to get fed anymore. Because if he's able to apply his max Last Insanity in a group of people, this man does not die. Oh my god. Xborg has already been picked up as a fairly like good anti-meta jungler. This just makes him better. And he is good in EXP. He can play in EXP because he's bulky. Oh no! Not again! Oh no! Xborg is good. He is a good hero. Oh man, he might, depending on how often we see it, he's not like hyper meta, but he is one of the best anti-tank heroes in the game now. Because he himself will be bulky, and he obviously burns quick. Wow. Very good buff for Xborg. It's actually a terrifying buff. And all it required was just changing up the way his ultimate worked. Damn! I'm terrified. Okay, Uranus, the section that Gideon hates the most. Improved gaming experience and enhanced Uranus's solo pushing capability. So his passive effect has been adjusted. Uranus's basic attack deals magic damage equal to 80% total physical attack plus 4 to 8 scaling with level. Well, one of y'all told me about this before. His basic attack does damage based on his radiant stacks. For those of you who don't know what his radiant stacks are, those are the stacks that determine his regen and tankiness. Which means that the tankier he becomes, the more damage he does. Skill 1 deals extra magic damage. Okay, yeah, this is what you guys talked about. Ionic Edge also scales based on how bulky he is, because it's based on the stacks. Skill 1 no longer stacks on enemies' hits or increased damage based on stack count. Okay, so they've changed Ionic Edge. It no longer stacks based on how many times an opponent is hit with Ionic Edge. It just straight up scales off of Radiance, which is his passive, which is a lot easier for Uranus to stack compared to Ionic Edge before. Ooh, Uranus is a push threat. He is a push threat. Because like Uranus was not tanky enough, right? Uranus is meant to be a hero that just like out-sustains everything you throw at him. But in a similar situation to the damage-based EXP laners, a lot of sustain-based EXP laners that do not have the base stats of Hylos and Gatot simply cannot survive the amount of damage that is being done in the game right now. They have not made Uranus tankier, but they have made him do more damage more easily. He's probably still not going to be particularly good for team fighting, but he is very good at 1v1 dueling, and he is very good at split pushing. He is really good at split pushing. Damn. He can get max Ionic Edge damage at level 1. Imagine during tower takedowns they can't kill you and you just ignore everyone and push. Like, split pushing is still a very tricky meta to play because nowadays you genuinely do need every body you can get, you know, for damage sponging and actually dishing out the damage. But there are going to be niche situations where you can do some split pushing, and Uranus is going to be very good at that. What I am worried about is that he is still the same bulkiness as he was before. There was no change to his HP or armor values or his base stats or his stat growth. The only change that he got is that he does more damage based on his radiant stacks. And that worries me because it means that he is still actually fairly squishy for a sustained EXP laner. I think it means that Uranus is forced to play split push. Uranus is basically, he has to play split push because he's not going to be very good in team fights. When you pick Uranus, you are committing to a macro team composition. But if you build correctly around that and you force your opponent to respond to you, Uranus is going to be very good. Like, if you're in the base, the minions are there, you just brush off everything, Ray is correct. And then if you have Common Emblem, that's even better. I don't know about Inspire. Inspire feels a little bit peculiar. But if he's able to max out his radiant stacks at level 1, I can actually see his basic attacks doing a lot of damage. Especially since they also scale off his total physical attack, right? So, okay, yeah, he is a tanky Zilong. Basically, there's no reason to play Zilong. You should never ever play Zilong. You should just play Uranus. Yes, you want to kill people, but Uranus can force people to come to him and then he kills them, you know? So, yeah. Inspire has mana regen without the need of Talisman. There's more room for full defense and no need for CDR. True, because like Uranus had to build Enchanted to get Ionic Edge out as much as possible. He doesn't rely on that as much anymore, so he can build bulkier. That is true. He can Thunderbelt. His basic attacks scale off of his radiant stacks. Uranus can Thunderbelt. Oh shit. Okay. Honestly, huge change. Will make Uranus viable, but he's a very niche hero. Revitalize plus Flask. Oh my god, you're bringing up like cursed builds now, Ray. Also, hello Sila. Welcome. Oh, please buff Lapu. I want to play Lapu again. He's been so bad lately. Enhance his durability in teamfights and sustained combat capability. Skill 1 in Great Sword Stance, cooldown reduced. Only interrupted by suppression! Woohoo! Oh, damn! Okay, so based on the duration of Lapu Lapu's ult, you only could really use all of his abilities once. A 3-second reduction means that you can get his skill 1 out twice, which means that he can stun people twice and he is immune to CC. Ooh. Ho! Ho ho ho! With CDR too. Oh, great. Skill 2 cooldown rescaled slightly, so this is fine. This is his spin. His skill 1 has always been more important than his skill 2 in Great Sword Stance, so I'm fine with that. Damage reduction duration is reduced, which is a bit unfortunate. But effect change. For each enemy hero hit, Lapu gains... So this is the old effect, right? He gains 10% extra damage reduction for each hero hit. Lapu gains 30%... Oh! 30% damage reduction upon hitting an enemy hero, plus 8% for each additional hero hit. Ah! Woohoo! Lapu, my boy! Oh yes! Oh yes! Reduce cooldown on skill 1. He can stun twice during each ultimate at least. He is CC immune during the stun. He will get to cast skill 2 less often, but he doesn't need to cast it as often because he gets more damage reduction than before just straight up. If Lapu Lapu hit 3 heroes in the past, he had 30% damage reduction. If he hit 3 heroes now, he has 46% damage reduction. Damage reduction is OP, guys. Damage reduction is so strong because you are just basically cutting the enemy damage in half. Right? If you have 50% damage reduction, you are actually just reducing incoming damage by half. Oh, Lapu might actually... We are getting fighters. We are getting fighters back in the EXP lane. Guys, they are buffing fighting EXP laners. Oh, please buff Ruby. Please buff Ruby and Paquito. Oh, what I would give for a Ruby and Paquito buff. Oh, please. Please. But this is already so good. Lapu is already tankier. He gets... Oh my god, this is so good. Oh, my fighters. My boys. My boys! Okay, this is so good. I'm so happy. I am so happy. This is what I wanted when we started reviewing the patch notes. Oh, man. This is so good. Okay. Terizla. Terizla has been absent from the meta for a while. To bring him back into the spotlight, we've increased skill 2's early game damage against minions and reduced skill 1's cooldown. Skill 1 cooldown by 0.5 seconds, skill 2 damage to minions increased by 10%. So Terizla is still about as good as he was before. The unfortunate thing is that Terizla is very slow, very easy to kite, and honestly doesn't do as much damage as he used to. Plus he's not as tanky as he used to. He's still tankier than most other fighter type EXP laners, but the slowness makes him very hard to play. His setup is solid, but the rest of it makes him hard to play. We see him sometimes in the meta, but not very often. And I don't think this change is gonna do much for him. He feels a little nicer, he's able to clear wave quicker. Unfortunately, he's not very good at split pushing because again, he's very slow. And you need him to be part of team fights because of penalty zone. So I don't think Terizla is going to be much better than before. It's just a very small quality of life buff. Paquito! Oh, Paquito! Paquito buffs! Paquito has a low error tolerance in the mid and late game when his skills miss, so we've reduced the overall cooldowns of his skill set. Skill 2 cooldown by 0.5. Okay, it's nice. This is actually pretty nice. Because like Paquito is very reliant on getting his skills out so that he can build up his stacks. So that's good. Ultimate cooldown reduced by 1 second early, 2 seconds late. I was hoping for more buffs. I was hoping Paquito would also become just slightly tankier. Basically, what this does is it lets him do damage a little easier. There's a slightly increased tolerance if he messes up his skill combo, but it's not much of a change. The uptime is nice though. I think I need to test this. It's not a very big cooldown reduction, but Paquito spams his skills really often. So considering he will usually build some CDR as well, there's a chance that this actually makes a big difference. But I think Paquito is still gonna be played more as a jungler than an EXP laner. I was hoping that they would buff his tankiness slightly, like his base defenses, because then he could be played as an EXP laner. But even if this does make his gameplay smoother, he is a jungler, right? Because they didn't buff his skill 1. If they buffed his skill 1 as well, he could have been an EXP laner again. But he's a jungler because they buffed jab and knockout strike. But it's still good. It might be a nice improvement. I gotta test him. Ray said he got an MVP with Pac. Uptime is pretty good, so I will test him later. Ruby! Ruby buff! We want to make Ruby's spell vamp more distinctive! That's right up my alley, Moonton. That's right up my alley. What have you done? What have you done? Not a big change. Base spell... Quadrupled. They quadrupled it. Oh my god. Oh my god, they quadrupled her spell vamp. That's insane. That's insane. Oh my god. That's crazy. Oh my god, dude, are you insane? Oh my god, I'm tearing up. I can't believe it. I actually cannot believe what I'm looking at right now. They quadrupled her spell vamp and they didn't nerf anything? Other than her defense? But dude, who cares about that? I have quadruple spell vamp. Dude, I already healed my entire HP bar from nuking a single minion wave. I can build her bruiser. She can play bruiser again. She doesn't have to go like mostly damage to get her lifesteal values. Ah! Yes! And even if I do build her full damage, you can't kill her anyway! Yes! Oh! I love you, Moonton! Fudging hell! Oh my god, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe they did this. Quadruple? Are you serious? Quadruple spell vamp in the late game? Dude! Dude, if you dude, I played Ruby with you guys yesterday, and I healed my entire HP bar from one skill on the enemy minion wave in the base. Oh god. Is this too much? Have they buffed her too much? Are people gonna nerf Ruby? I feel like people might nerf Ruby. Oh my god. Guys, when I used to main Ruby, like really main Ruby, my favorite combo when I played with my brother was Angela Ruby. For obvious reason. Dude, imagine if I do that now. Imagine if I play healing support with Ruby. Imagine fudging Florin Ruby. I sure hope they remove Florin's like anti-heal. They better remove Florin's anti-heal, because like if they don't, oh, I'm gonna abuse the shit out of that. Oh, I love it. So good. Thank you, Moonton. I'm back, boys. The Ruby main is officially back. I'm gonna be spamming the shit out of Ruby. Oh yes, yes. Oh, I love it. So good. Oh, I'm so happy. I am so happy right now. Okay, okay. Hello, Akaishin. Welcome to the stream. You just come in on my happiest moment. Aldous mana costs are too high compared to other fighters, so we're making some optimizations. Yeah, Moonton. I think that was the problem. Dude, look at what they changed on Ruby compared to Aldous, man. They don't know what to do with Aldous. This hero is so bad. This hero is so bad right now. And this is what they do? They make his mana cost cheaper? Okay, yes, that's exactly what we need to make all this viable again. I'm sorry, that is so... You know what? When I make the tier list for this patch note review, there is going to be an Aldous tier. Previously we had a Kaja tier, this is gonna be an Aldous tier. Because it's like, what the fudge, man? He has been shot and left for dead. You are correct. I don't... Yeah, Emperor's correct. This buff is basically just a band-aid randomly slapped on him. Fudge. Oh, Shami just said, if combine all items that contain maximum spell vamp, Ruby can reach 110% spell vamp. That's what I like to hear. People are going to ban Ruby. Oh, I love the buff, but people are going to ban Ruby. Oh, she's so good. Okay, Esmeralda. I do like Esmeralda as well. I hope that she gets buffed nicely. Esmeralda's sustained combat capability in the mid and late game is lacking, so we've made adjustments accordingly. Ultimate mana cost reduced. Okay. Cooldown also reduced, but not by much. Yeah, this doesn't change anything. Esme is... I feel like Esme is going to lose to Uranus. I mean, we have seen players play Esme, so she's technically more meta viable than Uranus because she does contribute in team fights and her ultimate is a big part of that. But I don't really feel like her mana cost has been a problem. And usually you'll have your ultimate available anyway, but the cooldown reduction is pretty nice if you're like catching individual targets. I feel like what they needed to do is still make Esme slightly bulkier, right? I think the problem with a lot of EXP laners right now is that they're just not bulky enough, right? All the dueling EXP laners are not tanky enough. The sustained EXP laners are not tanky enough, other than, you know, Hylos Gatot. I know that Esme has seen some use, but the success rate has been not the best. I know that she's actually been played the most in China. I know that KLVJ played a lot of Esmeralda, but I don't actually know like if there's a difference in the patch for them compared to us. So it's a bit hard to compare that. I'm not sure if this is enough to make Esme quite as good. Cause she and Uranus suffer from a similar issue of both lacking kind of crowd control. Esme has some crowd control because of her ult, but in comparison she has not gotten as much of a buff in terms of damage. And her damage is pretty high, so I just kind of feel like she needed a bit more durability. And she didn't get that. So she's still not gonna be very meta, but she is a good niche counter. You know, she's supposed to be played against like shield-based compositions, so she's still gonna be very good for that, right? Esme white health era was crazy. Dude, I remember that. That shit was crazy. That was too much. Okay. Kalea! Kalea nerf. Okay, we're starting to get to nerfs, guys. This is probably where all the meta heroes are. Following the resilience adjustments, this attribute now reduces the duration of most airborne control effects, except for Kalea. For balance, we'll be implementing other nerfs to Kalea. Okay, so basically, resilience affects most airborne states except Kalea because, you know, her ult animation is still based on a certain amount of timing. So, remove knockback from first enhanced basic attack. Thank you. That shit was annoying. The fact that Kalea could just, like, the fact that Kalea could cancel you out of things the same way Badang did for less investment was annoying. And then they reduced her second enhanced basic attack damage. Okay. Skill 1 base damage reduced. by 50 overall. Skill 2, leaping distance after colliding with an obstacle, reduced by 0.5. Ultimate slam distance, reduced by 0.5. Okay. So Kalea is still gonna be a very good hero because like there are very few heroes that have the amount of single target CC that Kalea offers. So in exchange for keeping that crowd control intact, because that is most of her identity, they've reduced her damage across the board. Which means she's gonna be less viable as an EXP laner. Kalea is gonna be pretty fixed to her roam position, I think a lot of the time. Because she's not bulky enough to match up the Hylos and Gatot, and she no longer does enough damage to be able to like keep herself in lane a lot of the time. I think it's still viable to play her EXP, but it's gonna feel a lot worse. So we are going to see Kalea largely be restricted to roam, which I think is where she's supposed to be and is very well deserved. I agree with Kai. She's still gonna be good, but she's gonna be played a little less, and I think teams are gonna be less willing to first pick her, because Kalea is a hero that you can first pick due to her flexibility in roam and EXP and just how good she is. She's obviously still very good, but she's less flexible now, which means that you have to pick her slightly later in the draft. So yes, exactly what I think Kalea needed. I like this. It's a good adjustment, not too harsh a nerf, and keeps her viable. Good. Very nice balance change. Lucas, please nerf him good. Given this beast's outstanding performance in ranked matches, we're implementing nerfs to reduce Lucas's early game damage, mobility, and ultimate cast frequency. Resolve gain for a second half. Wow, okay, so Lucas has access to his ultimate less often. Which, alright, yeah, sure. No longer retains resolve upon death in Sacred Beast form. Ooh, resolve resets when you die. Okay. I'm kind of surprised it didn't do that before, you know? I feel like this is something that it should have always been the case because you're supposed to start from a blank slate when you respawn. But so far, I like this. Skill 1 base damage reduced by 50. Okay, 50 damage is actually fairly notable at level 1. But not very notable in the late game. I guess it's fine. It means that when you play against an EXP lane Lucas, he's not quite as oppressive as before because he really was ridiculous. So that's fine. Combo damage bonus has been reduced in terms of 5% total attack scaling as well. So Lucas's skill 1 does less damage. Not by a lot, but it is less and it's very necessary. I feel like it could have been nerfed slightly more because the CC effect it provides really makes up for it, but fine. Skill 2 cooldown increased by 2 seconds at level 1. Fair. Ultimate resolve gain has been buffed. So he gains more resolve during his ultimate, but he gains less resolve outside of his ultimate. So he's very cooldown based. Okay. Yeah, I can accept this. I feel like he's still gonna be kind of ridiculous. Like, I don't think this is enough of a nerf to say that Lucas is not OP. Because his damage hasn't been changed all that much. He's just a little less annoying in the EXP lane. He's still gonna clear jungle fairly well. His dash cooldown is actually fairly notable early, but it's the same late, and that's where he still is quite a threat. And then even if his resolve builds up slower, he's still able to like keep up with it. I feel like it just means that his beast form is a little less spammable. I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. Lucas is still gonna be very strong. It's just like, it's notable. You will feel the difference in damage as well as your availability to beast form, but it's not enough to say that okay, Lucas is balanced. He's still stupid. This hero is still stupid. That's how I feel. Hayabusa! Hayabusa's combo reward is disproportionately high compared to its difficulty, making him an almost insurmountable threat to back row heroes in high rank matches. His mark should test the player's skill more while offering greater rewards. Hayabusa can only apply one... Have they killed Hayabusa? Dude, have they... have they killed Hayabusa? That feels kind of harsh. Ultimate base damage, flat is still the same, reduced scaling. Extra damage has been buffed slightly. Extra damage bonus increased. It only nerfs the first skill, but the first skill being able to stack multiple was kind of necessary. One stack for each instance of damage, basic, and first skill. First skill is used to stack 4 if you hit. Okay, I agree that like basically maxing the stacks with his skill 1 back then was ridiculous. But is it fair to reduce it to only 1? It is definitely higher skill floor. It's a lot more difficult to play Hayabusa now. Like a lot. Actually a lot more difficult. He's still a fairly good hero. The damage scaling still will add up to roughly about the same with the way that it's been adjusted. So it really means that it's just more of a test of skill about whether or not you can consistently apply his shadow marks. This one I will need to see. Cause Hayabusa is a hero that's so strong that we regularly ban it in pubs. And it is quite regularly banned out in pro play too. He's you know what, yeah, maybe I was a bit extreme. I don't think Hayabusa is gonna be dead from this. Because like his iframes from Oki Shadow Kill are still like really good. He's able to contest buffs and objectives really easily for an assassin. It just means that it's a little harder for him to kill people. And maybe you guys are right. Maybe that is necessary. Okay, all things considered, this is actually quite fair. Yeah, I think this is quite fair, actually, really thinking about it. Okay, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Kimmy nerf. Okay, Kimmy's ult is a bit too powerful for initiating team fights. Agreed. So we're reducing its frequency and range. Ultimate cooldown increased by 10 seconds all around. Okay. Range reduced by 10%. Thank you. It's not very much, but it's enough. Her fudging traction pulse range is so stupidly far. So this is needed. Optimize ultimate's collision logic. Explosion center point will be closer to the first target hit. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah. I think this is fine because Kimmy really was the most OP from her ultimate. Right? The fact that her ultimate exists makes her viable as a mid laner, even though she's meant to be a marksman. So, by nerfing it slightly in terms of cooldown and range, they're making it so that Kimmy is still viable as a mid laner, but not quite as ridiculous as before. Because the ease of which Kimmy started fights with her ult without any threat to herself was a bit too much. So this is fair. I would have liked the range to actually be reduced slightly more. But 10% is fair. This is fine. This is actually an okay nerf. I'm okay with this. Selena. Oh, Selena nerf, really? We're glad to see Selena back in the spotlight. The increased flight speed of Abyssal Arrow has allowed her to pose a greater threat to enemies. However, the frequent use of this skill in the late game would lead to a negative experience for the opposing team. Someone on Moonton played against too many Selenas. This is something that only someone who has actually played against Selena will say, because that is completely true. Therefore, we've decided to increase ultimate cooldown in the mid and late game. To compensate, we will strengthen Selena's effectiveness as a magical assassin by adding a magic power bonus to her ultimate. Ultimate cooldown 5.5 at all levels. Honestly, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. You would ideally want more access to this in the late game, but it really depended on how often you were able to land your arrows anyway, so I don't think changing this makes much. And then she gains some free magic power in her ult. So Selena is able to do damage a little bit more easily without relying too heavily on itemization into the late game. This is the same hero. In fact, if you ask me, I don't think it's a nerf. I feel like at best it's an adjustment. I don't think this changes much for Selena, because she's not really going to be maximizing her ult every 4 seconds anyway, a lot of the time, unless like she's really heavily chasing someone down. Which I guess in those situations she'll feel the nerf, but in exchange she does more damage, so I think it kind of adds up. Yeah. Also, I'm kind of surprised they didn't like nerf. Like when they said the frequent use of the skill of Abyssal Arrow in the late game led to a negative experience, I thought they were going to nerf the cooldown of Abyssal Arrow. Like, look at this sentence. Increased flight speed of arrow poses a greater threat, but the frequent use in the late game leads to a negative experience. I thought they were going to nerf its cooldown. No, they nerfed her alt cooldown. What? Then don't increase these sentences. You raised our hopes. We thought you were going to nerf arrow cooldown. No, this doesn't change anything. Yeah, because changing forms reverses cooldown anyway. Yeah, it makes no difference. Okay, Fanny. Let's see. Fanny should be a hero with high skill requirements and a high skill ceiling, but currently her mobility doesn't match her energy costs. We're adjusting the energy consumption of her different skills to better balance risk and reward. So skill 1 has a reduced energy cost, but skill 2 has a higher energy cost, and alt has less. So basically, honestly, this makes a lot of sense to me. Cause like Fanny should actually drain more energy from using her cables than using her other abilities. I think this is kind of fair. Kai says it is still a nerf to Abyssal Arrow because she has to change form twice. Okay, to be fair, I don't play Selena, so I might not know about the nuances of her kit. So, nerfing her alt will actually indirectly adjust her Abyssal Arrow cooldown, is it? Okay. I guess that's fair. If that's the case, then yeah, then that's fair, actually. For Fanny, this is fine. She's still gonna be pretty good. Actually, that's a pretty notable energy cost increase, though. That is actually quite a lot. It does reduce the energy cost on her other skills, so it probably balances out a little bit, but it means that you really need to make the most out of your cables. So, it is an increase in Fanny's skill ceiling, but not a decrease in her power. If played correctly, Fanny is still gonna be about as strong as she used to be, but if not played correctly, Fanny is gonna feel a lot shittier. So, you know what? That is fair. I actually like that. I think we're still gonna see Fanny banned quite a lot. But it means that in situations where junglers really cannot play Fanny, teams are even more inclined to leave her open. Right? So like, for example, we know that when teams play against Chibi, they usually leave Fanny open because they know he's not very good at the hero. It's gonna be even worse for players like that now. Alright, fair. I think it's fair. Zeusin, skill 2 no longer reveals vision of the entire bush and only vision of heroes hit. Whoa, that's actually pretty big. Cause like Zeusin very much relies on vision control, right? This is a hero that like really likes vision control, but at the same time, Zeusin's skill 2 is so big anyway, and it's very easy for her to check like the entire bush because she's able to do it at a range. But it slightly balances it out depending on the bush that she's checking. It means that there's a possibility that Zeusin has to put herself a little bit more out of position compared to before, which I think is a very fair trade-off because Zeusin really could just check bushes and annoy people from like miles away. Okay, I'm actually happy with this. I think this is very, very, very good. Since like her skill 2 AoE is already so big, yeah, there's no reason for it to reveal the entire bush at once. Let Zeusin do it manually, since it looks like it's supposed to anyway. Lo Yi! Her ultimate is too unexpected, so we want to give her enemies some warning. Doesn't it already? It technically shows the teleport zone on the floor. During the ultimate cast, Lo Yi's position will be revealed. Whoa. Hold on. Okay, so firstly, revealing Luoyi's position usually doesn't make much of a difference, right? Because Luoyi will usually teleport from somewhere far away to somewhere near you. It's similar to Johnson, yes, but that doesn't really impact Luoyi very much because it doesn't really matter if the enemies know where you are when you start the teleport, since the destination remains hidden. They don't know where you will appear. But the big difference is that they know you are teleporting. Right? The location of Luoyi really does not matter. What matters is they know it is coming. That's kind of big. You know what? I do think it's a little necessary. Yes, Luoyi mains are gonna be very upset at this because it gives people a little bit of forewarning, but I do actually feel like it needs a bit of forewarning. Because this ultimate happens so quickly, and it just instantly whacks you in the face. Right? It makes you a little bit more wary, but you still won't really know where your opponent is coming from. And if you were like wary enough to properly check bushes around you before it happened, then you will feel even safer than before. Because there were too many situations where a diversion just pops out and all of a sudden the enemy team just cannot really do anything. Especially in situations where like they're retreating from a team fight, right? They're not really able to check bushes in that situation. At least with this, they know that something's coming. And if the Luoyi positions their ult correctly, they will still definitely catch people off guard. Right? Like a good Luoyi, even if like the enemy knows that a teleport is coming, will still catch their opponents off guard. So I think this is actually kind of necessary, even though it feels a little bit bad for Luoyi. Her ult really was a bit too effective in a coordinated team setting. So this is fair. Chip, skill 4 is too unexpected. We want to give his enemy some warning. Same thing. Skill 4 has a 1 second force swing and reveals Chip's position for... This one hits hard. Because skill 4 is his Y walk. It is the ability that allows him to teleport to any one of the 4 portals he has on the map. And this ability was changed in a previous patch so that you don't need to be at a portal to use it. Right? It was changed so that Chip can actually teleport to a portal from anywhere on the map. And this was always a very important tool for Chip because he needed it for repositioning. Chip doesn't have any other tool for him to get into the back line, which is what the portal is meant to be used for. That's what Chip's ult is meant to be used for, to catch the back line. Unlike Luoyi, where the diversion is still gonna be kind of difficult to predict, if the enemy team can see where Chip goes with his skill 4, that is an insane amount of information. Because they know exactly from which angle he is attacking from. The change to Luoyi is a fair balance. This is a huge nerf to Chip. Right? Like, even though it's a very similar sort of adjustment to both of these very global teleport heroes, it is like much bigger nerf to Chip than to Luoyi. Because Luoyi's teleport is still instant and the enemies don't know where she goes. If Chip reveals his position, also the 1 second force swing means that it can be cancelled. We saw, I can't remember which player it was, but there was a player in MPL MY where he actually used this ability to escape from enemies chasing him. But now that there's a force swing, if he gets CC'd while he's trying to use it, he can no longer escape. This is a huge Chip nerf. I'm gonna say it right now, this hero is no longer meta. Like straight up. With this adjustment, Chip is not meta anymore. He can still be viable for certain team comps, but he is not meta. He is not a hero that you have to pick or ban every single game anymore. This is actually really, really big. Like, Chip plays around information. This is an information-based hero. And you are giving your opponents free information with this adjustment. Chip is not meta. This is a huge nerf. Oh man, Estes, do I really have to read him? Following adjustments to equipment with healing reduction, the HP regen of his skill is reduced accordingly. We want to expand Estes' utility beyond healing, so we've added an effect to increase allies' hybrid defense. Oh shit. Is skill 4 the pop out or the calling portal? The pop out. Skill 1. Basic healing has been reduced slightly early. Sustained healing has been reduced. Hybrid defense is a lot. Dude, hybrid defense is kind of big actually. Yeah, this is big. 30 hybrid defense is a lot. That's by levels too. Enhanced skill 1 basic healing has been nerfed. Sustained healing has been adjusted. Actually, it's been buffed. Sustained healing is buffed, and then self-healing has been buffed late game. So he heals less early, he heals more late, and now he also provides hybrid defense. Estes plus Ruby is walking base for Ruby. Dude, I don't know how you kill a Ruby like that, actually. I hate Estes. Fudge, I hate Estes. But dude, this is actually really, really strong. I'll say right now. 30 hybrid defense is a lot. It does result in less overall healing, but not by that much, and most of it is the flat value. So basically, Estes in general, Estes heals less early and he heals more late. That's annoying. The thing is, that's really good because late game is where Estes is usually the most effective. Late game is where you really like 5v5 death ball all the time. So the fact that he's better in a time where he's already meant to be more effective means that this hero is just actually kind of not bad. Oh man, this is... Oh, I hate it. And they're nerfing anti-heal, right? Dude, the fact that I'm still on hero changes. I've been live for 2 hours and I'm still on hero changes. Fudging hell. Okay, but yeah, like this is... Yeah, Estes is not bad. Matilda, following adjustments to the equipment with healing reduction, the shield granted by skill 2 is reduced accordingly. So, yeah, Matilda provides less shield. So this is the matchup to the healing reduction nerf. But honestly, Matilda gave way too many shields. If you ask me personally, Matilda gives so many goddamn shields. It's ridiculous. So I think this is a fair adjustment. But it's not gonna mean much because anti-heal has been weakened anyway. So basically this is just an adjustment that makes Matilda about the same as before. Oh, Florin, please remove the anti-heal. Please remove the anti-heal. We want Florin's ultimate to be more counterable for enemies while still preserving its uniqueness as a healing skill. Remove the effect. Remove all allies' healing reduction. Thank you. Thank you, Moonton. We needed that. We needed that so bad. So, Florin no longer provides anti-heal. Thank God! That was cancer. Actually too broken. New effect, increase allies healing Ruby! Oh my god! Oh my god! I need this spam Ruby. I actually have to, oh my god. Okay, this is very fair, right? So you take away her anti-heal, but she provides extra healing. I think that is a fair exchange because this will still be affected by anti-heal. But if anti-heal is getting nerfed, that means that Florin is actually still pretty darn strong. And she, oh my god, How high can Ruby spell vamp go? Like if you stack all the spell vamp items and then Florin on top of that, like what is Ruby's healing percentage? Oh my god, that's insane. Guys, please play Florin with my Ruby, thank you. I think we... Dude, do we still need to ban Florin actually? The anti-hanty heal was ridiculous, that's why we banned it. But the extra healing received, in addition to potential anti-heal nerfs, might mean that she still might need to be nerfed. I guess we'll see. We will see. Angela nerf. Following adjustments to equipment with healing reduction, shield granted by ultimate is reduced. Okay, so similar situation on Matilda. She just provides less shield because supposedly healing reduction has been adjusted. Dude, how much did they nerf healing reduction? I really don't feel like they needed to do it. I guess they really want to see like sustain and fighter EXP laners back in the meta. But I kind of feel like this might end up being a bit unbalanced. This is kind of scary. Ruby can sneeze at you and she gains back her HP, bar races. Okay, Baxia. Following adjustments to the equipment with healing reduction of his passive is also reduced. They're also nerfing Baxia's healing reduction? Wow. Dude, I need to see the items. What did they do to them? What did they do to Dominance, Ice, Sea Halberd, and Glowing Wand? Dude, okay. Oh no, are we back in healing meta? Oh no, are we playing healing meta again? No. No, I don't want, no. We don't need to give the Philippines another MSC victory. A healing meta buff is a buff to the Philippines. I don't want to see Ube. No. Oh no, I'm so scared. I'm actually so scared. Barats. Due to resilience enhancement, Barats has become difficult to control when stacking too much resilience. Therefore, we reduce his resilience gains while compensating other attributes. Hybrid defense increased by 1, remove the 5% resilience increase each stack, and gain 20% resilience at max stacks. Oh, I kind of feel like this is a nerf. I feel like this might be a nerf. Cause like 5% resilience increase each stack means that Barats is a little bit harder to CC a lot of the time. Now you need to be max stacked to gain resilience. I don't like this. I don't really like this change. Why did they change this? Difficult to control because like his resilience levels would keep fluctuating during fights or something? No, I don't feel like that's the problem. Barats is a similar issue. He actually needs to be a little tankier, if anything. I don't like this. I feel like this is a nerf. Am I understanding this incorrectly? I feel like this is a nerf. I don't really like this. Fudge. I wanted Barats to kind of come back into the meta so that we have more tank junglers as an option. I don't feel like this is going to do that. Barats already did no favors to MPLID. Okay. Ling. Due to the new resilience effect affecting airborne, enemies can escape more easily after being knocked airborne. We've added a slow effect. New effect slows hit targets by... Oh, I've seen this before. I have seen this one before. It means that inside the circle of Tempest of Blades, Ling will slow. You know, if you get hit by Tempest of Blades, you are slowed inside the circle by 40% for 1.5 seconds. Which is a lot, actually. It is a lot. It allows Ling to hit his blades and do damage to you even easier. Obviously, if you have dashes, you are a little bit less affected. But if you are already like a slower hero, this hurts really bad. This is actually a really nice upgrade for Ling. And he was already a pretty meta hero now anyway. This is good. This is a good update. It makes him feel better to play, gives him a little bit more leeway for using his ult to escape and engage. Okay. Ling players will be quite happy with that one, I feel like. Oh my god, this is a huge fudging patch, man. This patch is massive. Kufra. The new resilience effect on airborne has impacted Kufra's combo. Skill 1 into ultimate. To compensate, we reduce backswing of skill 1. Reduce backswing time by 60%! Damn! Ultimate is only interrupted by suppression! You can't cancel Kufra either! Guys? I think Kufra might be good. Anytime a hero gets the ability to be CC immune, it is actually really good. And then he gets a backswing time reduction, a very notable backswing time reduction too. Kufra might be good, especially if a lot of like the fighting EXP laners come back. So like if we start seeing heroes like Ruby and Yuzong back in the meta, Kufra will naturally see more play as the direct counter to high mobility heroes. And now they have made him CC immune during his ult cast, and they have made his skill 1 faster. Kufra is good. This hero is viable. We might see him in the meta again. It really depends on which heroes actually start popping out. You know, if we start seeing more mobility assassins and fighter EXP laners, then Kufra is 100% a meta pick. If not, then Kufra is still a solid pick. But it's not gonna be like very popular. It really depends, because Kufra is meant to be a counter hero. So okay, we will see. Minotaur. Minotaur needs a defense boost. As Minotaur's core mechanic relies on airborne, he's been impacted by the new resilience effect. To compensate, we're improving his durability. Oh yes. Base physical and magic defense increased by 5, physical defense growth increased by 1.2, magic defense growth increased by 1.5. Yes! The cow can actually tank more than 2 hits again. Amazing! This is all we needed for the longest time from Minotaur. This cow was so fudging squishy. Such a fudging squishy tank. This is good. So he gets an extra 5 base defense, like on both sides at level 1. And then he will get another 16 physical defense roughly. And another 20 magic defense roughly. That's a lot. It's actually a good amount. I think he's still gonna be kind of squishy early, but it means that he's able to at least, you know, survive things a little bit more effectively. If you ask me personally, I think they needed to buff his defense a little more, because Minotaur really is squishy AF as a tank. But they wanted to compensate for the fact that he's also a healer. Wait. He's also a healer. And they reduced healing reduction. Shit. Minotaur might be meta. Shit. He might actually be good. He might not need more defense, because he will benefit from reduced healing reduction. Oh no, Ube is gonna come back, isn't it? We're gonna have Ube again. Oh no. Okay, Minotaur might actually be back. I'll say it right now. There's a chance we might see him again. Damn, okay. Atlas. Atlas's core mechanic relies on airborne, impacted by resilience, improving passive trigger speed. Time needed to freeze enemies reduced to 2 seconds. I mean, it's a nice quality of life, but doesn't change much. Atlas is too reliant on his ultimate and really doesn't do much without it. Right, his skill 1 and skill 2 are really kind of weak for a tank. Doesn't offer you very much, and he's really dependent on Fatal Link. So even though his passive freezes a bit quicker, it just means that the combo is better with Fatal Links, right? It means that Fatal Links into the Frigid Breath freeze happens a lot more quickly, which is really nice. But it doesn't change the fact that Atlas is too dependent on a singular style of play. perfect match becomes more effective because of it? You are actually not wrong. You're not wrong, actually, because like if you perfect match into skill 1, like if you use perfect match to chase, it can be a bit hard to chase because oftentimes enemies will just move faster than you. But if Frigid Breath triggers faster, it's actually... You know what? You're right, Ray. This might actually be not too bad. I'm gonna need to test it, but I feel like Atlas is still a little bit difficult to play compared to other tanks. It may be surprisingly good though. This one requires time. I don't think I can really predict how much this will change Atlas because I need to test it myself. Because yeah, you are right, 3 to 2 seconds is a big jump for that passive because he actually does use it quite a lot. Okay, I will think about this. I want to test this. I will test this and see how good it is because you have opened my eyes. There's a chance this might actually be more effective than I think. Shami asks, who is Ube? Ube is the name of a strategy, Shami. Is the name of a strategy that was popularized by Blacklist and is generally known to be a PH preference because it's based around healing. Guinevere, so also affected by new resilience, so her skill 2 airborne duration has been increased, so this is just, you know, to compensate for the changes to resilience. Veil is also the same, so a 0.2 second increase. Hanzo, we aim to balance creep clearing speeds across all junglers. Currently, Hanzo's creep clearing speed is a bit too fast. Skill 1 cooldown increased by 5 seconds. And when targeting the Turtle Lord and enemy hero, this skill's cooldown is reduced by 60%. Okay. Small adjustment, but it does mean that Hanzo clears a little slower. Which means that he's a little bit more vulnerable to being invaded. That could be good, actually. Hanzo's already a little bit difficult, though. We already see that Hanzo as a hero is having some trickiness in the meta. Because he does do a lot of damage, but is reliant on Snowball, so he actually needed that farm speed. If he doesn't have it, I feel like he is losing a bit of his niche. So there's a chance that Hanzo will actually see less play because of this. He was already seeing less play in general. But now that heroes like Lancelot have been buffed and Ling have been buffed, I think Hanzo being nerfed will just feel even worse. We might not actually see Hanzo at all. Freya! We aim to balance crit clearing speed across all junglers. Currently, Freya's crit clearing speed is a bit too fast. So, Freya's basic attacks only deal 75% damage to creeps. The thing is, people generally don't play Freya as a jungler. Surprisingly enough. People play Freya as a gold laner. So, I don't think this will affect Freya too much, and in the first place, she's not really being played in the meta all that often anyway. But if healing reduction has been reduced, there is a chance that we see Freya in very niche situations as like a fighter gold laner. Wait a minute. Guys, will we see more double fighter side lane? Healing has been increased. A lot of fighter EXP laners have been buffed. And we are definitely going to see an influx of healing meta again. Are we going to see fighter gold lane more often? But some of the marksmen did get buffed as well. Yeah, the marksman got buffed too. Leslie got a big buff, Bruno's been buffed, Ixie has been buffed. But I feel like the possibility of it is there, actually. It's not gonna be something that like teams rely on all the time, but the viability of it might be back actually. Because like double fighter side lane was very reliant on having really strong fighters that would just dominate the gold lane. The most obvious choices were like Ruby and Paquito, Paquito was nerfed hard, so we don't see him anymore. Ruby was the only one that was still played, but she wasn't good enough. Now Ruby has been buffed, and Paquito actually does a bit more damage. He can actually be more of a gold laner rather than a jungler. We might actually see it. We might see some fighter gold lane again, even though MM has been buffed. Okay. Alpha's jungle clear has been reduced. Damn. Alpha clears jungle damn fast though. Oh, that feels kind of bad. Alpha is already having a bit of difficulty keeping up with the meta, and now they've nerfed one of his most effective facets. His fudging jungle clear? Damn, that feels bad. This actually feels really bad. Cause like, Alpha and Hanzo as well, both of them are very based off of like clearing waves fast and ganking fast to do high burst damage to get early snowballs. And they're no longer gonna be able to do that. Jawhead to 50%? Damn, okay. Guys, I want fighter junglers still, you know. Moonton, I would like to see fighter junglers still. Oh yeah, Leash Jawhead. Oh wow, Leash Jawhead has been nerfed to shit actually, 50%. Yeah, Leash Jawhead is dead. Man, this fight is kinda bad. Julian too. Julian's also been nerfed to 75% creep damage. Oh, but they buffed Alucard! They nerfed all the other junglers by 25 to 50%, but Alucard's damage has been increased by 10%. Okay, I mean sure, I do agree Alucard clears jungle really slow, but I think he has bigger issues, unfortunately. Like Alucard is a bit tough to play, really dependent on snowball, and a little bit more difficult to really effectively use in the meta, even compared to like Alpha. So yeah, but at least his creep clear could make him a farming. Dude, I still remember Link Ezza's Alucard jungle, man. I miss those days. I miss the days when I could still viably play some Alucard jungle. The Zeta division buff? Oh yeah, I remember seeing a clip that they do play Alucard. Well, who knows, right? Who knows? They increased Sun's oh! Whoa, wait. Sun and his doppelganger's basic attack damage against creep is increased by 50? Every hit from Sun and his doppelgangers does an extra 50 damage to creeps? That's huge! That's a big buff! That's a lot of damage! Jungle Sun is back? Monkey in the Jungle returns? Maybe? That's like a really a big clear speed increase. And then... What? They reduced Saber's clear? Oh wait, no, they buffed it. They removed the effect. Okay. Oh, I want to play Saber actually. I'm a dirty Saber cheese player. I really like playing Saber in Classic. So if he clears faster, twice as fast actually, because Orbiting Swords now deals 100% damage to creeps. Oh. Okay, so a bit of a buff to the old heroes, you know, Alucard, Sun, and Saber in the jungle. And then nerfs all around the Hanzo, Freya, Alpha, Jawhead, Julian. Okay. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright, with that we have completed our hero adjustments, everyone, in 2.5 hours. But we still have battlefield adjustments. Let's go, everyone. I thought this was gonna be a short stream. I was not prepared for this shit, man. Okay. Let's see battlefield adjustments. Let's go. To balance crit clearing speeds across junglers, we've increased the damage ratio of Blessed Jungle Boots while making individual adjustments to heroes with particularly fast or slow creep clearing speeds. So this is what we saw earlier with all the heroes that got nerfed or buffed in creep clear. Blessed Jungle Boots base damage per second has been increased from 25 to 40, increased by 100% for Okay. Now I understand why they nerfed all those heroes so hard, because this makes a big difference. This is actually a huge difference. Hold on, so like, as long as you're not like Yi Sun-shin or Roger, you do 80 damage per second to jungle creeps? That's a pretty notable increase. That actually makes up for the 25% damage reduction on like Alpha and Julian. And then it's even better on like Sun, Alucard, and Saber because they already got a buff to their base creep clear speed. Now they have even more from the jungle boots buff. Whoa. And then tank junglers will clear faster. So Fredrin is even stronger now. And this might actually allow certain tank junglers who were not picked up because they cleared jungle slowly to become more viable. Interesting. This one needs time. I cannot think about heroes that might be largely affected by this right now. But with a little bit of time, I'm sure the pro players will tell us what this will change. Turtle. We hope to make it easier for side lane heroes to join team fights. So the current, which is the thing that makes your movement speed faster in the river before and after the turtle, has been changed from 15 seconds before turtle spawns to persist from 15 seconds before turtle until the... It lasts the whole time? Guys... What are the chances that we see a type of strategy where you play heavy early game teams with high rotation potential and you just never take the turtle? You just heavy pressure the opponent's side so that you just neither team ever takes the turtle, and you take advantage of the current just permanently being on the Land of Dawn to rotate faster and get kills as quickly as possible. Is there a possibility of that kind of strategy, do you guys think? Like, it's a bit out there. It's a little bit like, there's no way this sort of thing could work, but I feel like teams are starting to prioritize the turtle a little bit less as well, because, you know, at the speed of farming and how teams like to lean towards late game comps, it's not actually the most necessary. If you are going for an early game snowball composition, having the current around is a lot more valuable to you than actually taking the turtle. Right? Yes, it technically benefits your opponents as well, but if you have the right team composition, could you actually like abuse this? I wonder. Just an idea. EXP lane siege minion significantly increase EXP granted during 2 to... What? Significantly by how much? Are you telling me that EXP laners are gonna be like, what, matching jungler levels? Wait, how much? Because like EXP lane was already guaranteed to hit level 4 before the first turtle. How much is this increased? Dude, the heck? EXP lane crab respawn timer reduced, physical and magic defense reduced. Gold lane, same in respawn timer, but it gives like 22% less gold. Which is necessary because gold laners really farmed way too fast, so reducing the gold from the crab is a nice nerf to the gold lane. And also a nerf to Granger in general, because that man just farms so fast from stealing these crabs all the time. So the crabs are easier to kill. That's interesting. The game is gonna be shifting more into lane domination then. If the crabs are easier to kill and spawn more often, what Moonton is telling us is they want the side laners to win lane instead of hold lane. Right? They don't want teams to lean into like Hylo's Gatot and just like keep their opponent in lane. They want to see fighter EXP laners and early game marksmen that are able to actually contest these very easy buffs. Okay. Molten Fiend. So that's the orange buff. First spawn. Whoa, hold on. The first buff spawn 5 seconds later and have 30% more HP. So some of that HP increase is going to be offset by the buff to the jungle boots. Right, so the jungle boots allow you to do more damage to jungle camps now. So some of the HP difference is offset. But it means that in general, most heroes are going to clear jungle a little bit slower than before. And the entire rotation of the jungle has been changed. The jungle rotation is now permanently 5 seconds slower than before. It completely changes the timing where you would like gank the side lane, where you would contest Little Wanderer, where you would be able to hit like level 5 before, right around the time the first turtle spawns. Jungle is changed. Whoa! This is huge! Yeah, you can't leash because you'll be late. That's an extra 5 seconds. That's roughly around the time the minions collide. No one outside of the roamer can leash anymore. And it means that jungle invades are also generally going to be weaker. You cannot pull your EXP laner over to instantly invade at level 1. Only the roamer can really do it. And you have to commit your jungler to it too if you want an extra body. Everything is different. Yo! This is insane! Crazy! Actually crazy. Okay. Alright. All the jungle camps have had their HP increased. Base attack decreased in exchange so that like you don't take as much damage from doing the jungle, but junglers just clear slower. What does this mean? It also means that generally junglers might be late for the first crab, right? Junglers might be late for the first scavenger crab on the side lane. It again promotes the side laner taking the crab instead of the jungler, which is how it's been. Very interesting. Okay, battle spell changes. But damn, that's a lot of text for Inspire. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna read that. That's too much. Basic attack enhancement opportunities have been reduced by 2. It has changed from ignores target physical defense when Inspire is active to ignore target hybrid defense. So you can use this on magic damage heroes now. Okay. HP regen per basic attack has been changed from 60 plus 15% total physical attack and 15% total magic to 60 plus 15 physical, 10% magic. Interesting. Oh, also the bounce damage of Hanabi's basic attack no longer consumes basic attack opportunities. Again, I'm surprised it did that. Holy shit, that would F up Hanabi so much with Inspire. Wow. Okay, so Inspired is more universal. Basically, it can be used on magic damage heroes as well. So it is possible to use this battle spell on heroes like Natan, for example. Wow, okay. Retribution. All the retributions have had their duration reduced. Physical and magic power increase on Flame Retribution has been increased. HP stolen from Bloody Retribution has been buffed. This is very nice. Cause like, I think we all agree that Ice Retribution was just generally the strongest retri, right? Stealing movement speed is useful almost on any hero that you play. Flame Retribution was not always particularly popular. Bloody Retribution is obviously still good on tanks, but it means that tank junglers are becoming a bit more viable again. Because it just steals more HP. And then for Flame Retribution you take more as well. So you can play damage. Okay, interesting. Yeah, Flame was only good on Haya. So, wow. Okay, I actually really like what Wunton is doing. These are some really good system changes. Oh man. These are really good system changes. Alright, revitalize. Yeah, so this is also adjusted based on healing reduction, so the healing received has been reduced, that's fair. Okay, here's the item adjustments. Endless Battle. Heroes suited for this equipment generally have weaker sustain. Most of them are not ideal candidates for purchasing Has, Claws, or War Axe. We want to provide a more straightforward way to enhance their sustainability. They have removed the 8% hybrid lifesteal, and they have added a new effect where you just recover HP based on your physical attack, but you no longer gain movement speed. Interesting. Yes, this definitely makes it more universal. So, when I played Damage Ruby, I always liked going for Endless Battle. What this means is that this actually nerfs it slightly when combined with War Axe, right? Because you just get a flat HP. Actually, not necessarily, because it still is based on 40% of your total physical attack. The movement speed is kind of rough. I don't really like them taking away the movement speed, but the extra healing means that it actually is still very good on sustained heroes. There's very few heroes that actually buy Endless Battle. Even on Ruby, it's not a very common item. It can be used, but not very commonly. I think the only hero that really uses it is Clint, if I remember correctly. I'm probably forgetting some heroes, but yeah, this does make sustain a little bit more straightforward, and probably scales a little bit better as well, because 40% of total physical attack is actually a lot. This could be a lot in the hands of a marksman. This could be a buff to Clint. Okay, interesting. Starlium Scythe. This equipment deals high frequency true damage in the late game with limited counter options. Since most magic assassins are better suited for burst oriented equipment, we've preserved its burst potential, but reduced its trigger frequency. So the price has been reduced by 100. 5-second cooldown? Whoa! Hold on, I need to look at this. After casting a skill, the next basic attack within 3 seconds deals 5 second? 5 seconds? Who is going to buy this? What hero is this even good on anymore? You're right, Ray. No, Harif is not might be dead. I think Harif is dead. Harif depends on this item. Yes, you get an extra effect to reduce movement speed, but you also get less movement speed on yourself. Who buys this item? This is terrible. This is one of the worst nerfs I've ever seen. What hero will even use Starlium Scythe? Esme won't use it anymore. I don't think it'll be particularly useful on Edith anymore. This item is dead in the water. I have never seen a nerf that killed an item. Starlium Scythe is dead. Why would you do this? This is insane. You have tripled. You have more than tripled the cooldown on the extra damage on this item. There is no reason to buy this anymore. You probably just go straight for like Feather of Heaven, I guess. Any hero that used to buy Starlium Scythe as a first item would probably just go like Genius Wand again as a first item. That used to be the go-to first item for most magic dealers. Like I know, like Joy also buys this item, right? Joy also uses Starlium Scythe. I think Joy will go back to Genius Wand, but it means that she just does less damage. This is, dude. If you played like Damage Guinevere or something like that too, It's just, this item is dead. This item is just shit. I really don't know what heroes will be good on this. Damn. Okay, here is the healing reduction nerf. We find healing reduction effect from equipment is currently too strong. I don't really... Okay. We reduce healing reduction effect while adjusting heroes' equipment and skills with high healing to maintain balance. 10% healing reduction effect. It's not that much, actually. But it is going to be enough with all the healing buffs to make it so that I think we are going to have healing meta. I think we're gonna have healing meta. Okay. Ares' belt has been made cheaper in exchange for less max HP. Huh, okay. That does mean that it's a very viable, like, tier 2 item to just grab for extra HP. This means that this is an item that can be legitimately used to counter Leslie a little bit, right? Because 900 was a fairly steep price, but now you can buy it for 700 gold in exchange for an extra 600 max damage. That's actually pretty good. My OBS just disconnected for a moment. Hello, hello, are we back? I think I just disconnected from OBS for a moment, but I think we're back. Okay. So this is actually a pretty nice item to just pick up if you have to deal with true damage. So like, if you need extra HP against Leslie or Alpha or so on, you could just grab this. Okay. Brute Force Breastplate. The equipment has been underperforming in the current patch, and we believe its intended role is appropriate, so we've significantly enhanced its effects. Max HP increased, price made more expensive. Resilience at max stacks 25% and now requires an Ares belt to be built. Wow, okay, like the extra 200 gold is fairly pricey, but extra 200 damage is pretty good. And then we have an extra 10% resilience. This is not bad. The thing is, Brute Force Breastplate was generally not purchased much because this is meant for bruisers. Right, this is an item that is meant for bruiser heroes, and the previous meta was really bad for bruisers. So, since it feels like bruisers are probably going to be back, it means that Brute Force will naturally get more usage. Also, yes, the stream went down. OBS disconnected for like a split second and then reconnected. The stream should be back, guys. Let me know if the stream is back. Okay, Queen's Wings. Max HP increase, adaptive attack reduced, requires an Ares belt to be built. Yeah, that's fair. This is more meant to be a defensive item anyway. I don't really think you need the extra attack. Having more HP is more useful. Curse Helmet needs an Ares belt. Twilight Armor needs 2 Ares belts. Also has a new unique passive. When incoming damage reduces HP below 30... Whoa! When incoming damage reduces HP below 30%, recover 20% max HP over the next 4 seconds. What the fudge? It has a 60-second cooldown, which is fine, but this is a big buff. That, like, just the item in general is really good. Imagine if you have a Twilight Armor and an Immortality. Right, so when you drop below 30% HP, you suddenly get 20% HP back, and then when you die, you respawn. This is really good against burst as well. Yo, we might have a new burst counter item, because up until now, we've kind of been relying on like Athena Shield for magic burst. This could actually help you survive situations. This is kind of comparable to Rose Gold, but instead of getting shield, you just heal HP. Huh. What? My Twitch is not live? Is anyone on Twitch around right now? Could they confirm if my Twitch is live? Hold on, I see my Twitch live. My Twitch is live. is it? Yeah, my Twitch is live. I see myself live. Could I get any confirmation from the peeps on Twitch whether or not like we are live right now? Hi, my internet has been so sus. Ray is okay, yeah, Ray is fine, so I think it's just Gin. Okay. Let's continue. Where was I? So yeah, this is pretty good for Twilight. Guardian Helm has more max HP. That is more, wow, a lot more expensive. And now requires 3 Ares belts. Thunder Belt has reduced max HP, which I think is very necessary because this item was a little bit too universal. So a slight reduction in its defenses is very needed. CC, okay, so some resilience nerf to tough boots, which is rough because this really was the cheapest source of resilience in the game. But a 5% nerf should be okay since a lot of the CC in the game in general has kind of been reduced overall. Rapid Boots. Enhance equipment utility by providing HP regen to help roaming heroes. Whoa! Cheaper. Requires healing necklaces. Has 12 HP regen. This is really good. Like, heroes like Franco who rotate the map a lot will generally buy this for the mobility. But now it also gives regen? I think more heroes will actually buy these just for the regen. Especially with resilience getting nerfed across the board. We might genuinely see certain heroes shift into this direction, right? I'm thinking heroes like Hilda, for example, who would really benefit from having even more HP regen, might actually go for rapid boots instead of tough boots. And if you know that you're gonna generally be on the map for very long, then this is actually just really good because the mobility actually trumps out quite a lot of the time. I could see like Glue even going for rapid boots, I could see Tigreal going for rapid boots. That's interesting. Actually, okay, I like that change. That makes it niche as well because it's not just the mobility, it gives you healing. It means that it is able to fulfill the needs of more different types of roles and different types of heroes. I really like that. Roaming Blessing, whoa, Dire Hit reduced to half its cooldown. Favor increased by 5 seconds. I think that's necessary because healing reduction has been reduced and a lot of healers are just getting buffed in general. Immortality has more HP, requires an additional Vitality Crystal. Rock Potion removes CC duration reduction and provides damage reduction, which is actually quite nice. That's actually quite nice. That's actually not bad at all. Okay, I actually like that. But I kind of wish it gave a little bit more, but damage reduction is just such a valuable stat that, yeah, I understand that they don't give it, because like, even 10% damage reduction is a lot. That's why Lapu might be ridiculous now. Rose Gold Meteor reduced the early to mid-game durabilities of heroes, so it is now, oh wow, that's a lot. So you used to have a base 770 shield with a hero level multiplier of 70, but now it is completely hero multiplier. They are telling you, do not build Rose Gold Meteor early in the game. You are not going to benefit from it. So this directly nerfs heroes that want to build an early Rose Gold Meteor, right? If it was back when Julian Rose Gold was like the meta, then like this would hit even harder, but Julian could still actually benefit from this somewhat, so now you really don't want to build Rose Gold very early. You want to build it as like a 3rd or 4th item at earliest, right? So that shifts the build path for certain heroes. And then the Magic Blade also is changed so that it is fully based on a hero level multiplier. Does this reduce the max shielding? Hold on, so it was 770 plus 70 times hero level. So if you were level 15, hold on, I need a calculator. I've been doing this for too long. I can't do math anymore. 70 70 times 15 is 1050 plus 770, so it is 1820 last time, and now it is 120 times 15, so it's 20 less shield compared to back then. Alright, so it gives 20 less shield at max, which isn't much of a difference, but it is completely based on hero level now. It is not worth getting this early. Alright, interesting. Emblem adjustments. Oh my god, this is a much bigger patch than I thought it was. I am so tired, guys. Holy shit, I'm so much more tired than I thought. Okay, let's keep going. Come on, come on. Come on, Dodo, you can do it. I can do it. Fighter emblem, spell vamp increased. Hybrid deep, Ruby! Ruby gameplay is real! Oh my god! Oh my god! We're back! I'm back in fudging business! I'm so fudging back in business, boyos! Oh my god! Weapons master attack increase 3%. Okay, pretty good for... Damn, marksman having more damage? Okay. Festival of Blood plus force! Oh my god! What are they doing to me? What are they doing to me, guys? Holy shit, my Ruby gameplay! Quantum charge, cooldown increased. Okay, this was one of the most universal emblems in the game, so I think it's fair. Crit damage on Fatal reduced by a good amount, actually, huh? By half. Very few people used Fatal in the first place. I'm kind of surprised that they nerfed this so hard. That's very, very curious. Like, one of the heroes I would think of would be Leslie, but she already got a pretty big buff, so I think that more than makes up for the nerf on this. Interesting, but damn, the buff to Fighter and dude, they want Fighter EXP lanes. They want Fighter EXP lane back. We're back, boys. Fighter EXP laners are getting the love. We are getting the love we've been asking for this whole time. Oh my god. Oh, battlefield adjustments. Resilience now reduces the duration of airborne except for Saber and Kalea, whose airborne durations are tied to their skill mechanics, and they're just toning down Kalea. New battlefield draft. What is this? What is this? Battlefield draft mode, Roaring Strike. Limited battlefield draft mode designed for all-star effect. Is this rank? Yeah, it's classic and rank. Okay, so these are legitimately battlefield adjustments to rank. Okay. New damage skill bombardment. Every 3 seconds, the Lord locks onto nearby heroes and deals extra damage. So Lord dances are a little more risky. Okay. A new special ability, Roaring Launch. Heroes near the summoned Lord can use a special skill to throw themselves to a designated position. What? What? I've never heard about this before. What does that mean? What the fudge does that mean? Little Wanderer changes, increased movement speed bonus, and continuous mana regen for the killer. During these times, heroes gain the passive to detect nearby concealed enemy heroes. But stone roamers will know. Oh! Okay, so the little guys that roam in the river after the little is killed are gone. But instead, the hero that has the little wanderer will be able to detect concealed enemy heroes nearby. So that's an even bigger nerf than Natalia. Like, Natalia is just having a rough time. Like, back then you could still sneak around because as long as you avoided the roamer in the river, you were fine. Now, you have to avoid the hero that has the little entirely. It means that if the enemy has a camouflage hero and you have a squishier hero, like the mid laner, which is more vulnerable, it might be more worth it to give the Little Wanderer to your mid laner, potentially. EXP Scavenger Crab changes, gains damage reduction when HP falls below 50%. Oh. The killer gains additional benefits, increased max HP and a shield at low hit. What? The crab gives extra stuff? So the crab had their defenses completely removed. They have 0 hybrid defense on the crab. But I guess in exchange, they get damage reduction when their HP falls below half. And now the person who kills the crab gets extra HP and a shield. So even better for fighter EXP laners. Crazy. And then the gold scavenger crab gets this, gains extra damage, attack speed, and movement speed bonus when HP falls below 50%. So the gold crab, I guess, is scarier. And then the killer gets attack speed, and the ability to deal extra damage and slow. What the fudge? It's a different game! MLVV is a different game! I can't believe this. I can't believe how many changes there are. The Lord has a Roaring Strike. If the Lord hasn't engaged in combat for a while after spawning, it will enter a charging state. After charging for 10 seconds, the Lord will move to the other river area. The Lord's charging can be interrupted by damage, but once they enter, remove. Huh? Is this Roshan? Is this Roshan? Does the Lord move? What? Wait. Am I understanding this correctly? Does the Lord move to the other half of the map? What? Dude, what is happening? He does? What? That's crazy. That's what? Oh my god. Are you serious? So basically, if you want to keep the Lord dance going on the side of the map that the Lord is on right now, you have to keep attacking it. You cannot just like zone the opponent out and then ignore the Lord. You actually have to make sure that you are damaging the Lord. What the fudge? Oh man. Is that everything? Is there anything important here? Yeah, so Arlet's ult, Kadita's ult, Kufra's ult, and Lapu Lapu's skill 1 in ult form are only interrupted by suppression now. Fixed an issue where Fanny's skill 1 would trigger multiple times during flight. That was a thing? Is that why Fanny did so much damage? Fixed an issue where Brody's basic attacks could be interrupted by Oh, thank you. Oh my god, yes, this was so annoying when Brody's basic attacks got cancelled. Fixed an issue where Balman's skill 2, Balman's ult, Deros ult, Ola's ult, and Fredrin ult could not be interrupted by suppression. Fixed an issue where heroes with Retri receive more rewards for creeps than intended. It will slow down the time it takes for fast jungling heroes to reach level 4. Fixed an issue where Lucas could use skill 1 inside Vincitar ult, lol. Okay, I think that's everything. Any notable system adjustments? We have lane matchmaking now. We can choose 2 lanes. Hero collection feature. Mark your favorite heroes and preferred on hero display page. Your preferred heroes will automatically be pinned to the top. Oh, that's nice! That's really nice! Honestly, I can't believe it took so long for them to do that. Okay, I think we are done. We're done, guys! Oh my god, we're done! We've made it through everything! I'm so tired. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Instantly Gin invites me to rank. This guy.